I'm Caitlin Matson-Levy. Good afternoon, and this is the Green Room. The Salina Symphony Orchestra has a tradition, a yearly annual holiday tradition of bringing musicians, artists, dancers, sometimes actors, I believe, all together in one spot for the holiday season. They call it their Christmas festival, and it is this weekend. We welcome Adrienne Allen, who's the executive director of the Salina Symphony. Hello, Adrienne.
Caitlin, thanks for having me.
So, what are we going to experience when we walk through the door this weekend?
Well, it's really going to be an exciting, festival's a great word for it because we involve this year about 175 musicians, vocalists, and dancers, and really just a variety of music that I think will be both festive and meaningful to our audience, especially after missing our Christmas festival in 2020.
And who all's involved?
So we actually have three choirs that are involved this
Oh my.
year. That would include the Kansas Wesleyan University Chorale, and then the Salina Youth Choir, which is a program of the Salina Symphony. Typically then we involved the community choir here in town that under the direction of Bill Tazika. They are taking a break and because of COVID, but Bill went ahead and put together a fabulous choir of about 35 singers for us. And then we work with two fabulous dance studios, the Iron Street Dance Company, which is a program of the Salina Community Theater, as well as Tamara House School of Dance. And then, of course, our incredible Salina Symphony musicians under the direction of Dr. David Luttrell, who is our interim music director.
The performances are this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock at the Stiefel Theater. And the Stiefel Theater, during COVID, these COVID times, it got a facelift, didn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's just such an incredible space for classical music. And then the Watson Room's been redone, the Green Room, and all the backstage, which actually was something that happened partly because there was downtime during COVID. So it's everything is looking so gorgeous there, and it's just wonderful to be back on stage. It was kind of like a little reunion last night because last night was our first rehearsal at the Stiefel with the dancers and some of the vocalists. So it was just so wonderful to be back. And the stage is not exceptionally large, but so we have some challenges there to make it work. We add an extension and do all we can to fit that many people on stage, and they're not all on stage at once, but with that many people, it's we've been able to make it work, and it's just a beautiful space for it.
You would say you have around 200 people, would you guess?
Yeah, typically it's over 200, with our choir being a bit smaller this year, and I think the studios are using a few less dancers. We're around 175 this year, so still quite a number of, so it's really kind of a community collaboration and celebration. I mean, it was so fun last night. Our two different dance studios cheering each other on during rehearsal. I mean, there's just something really special about bringing this many people together, and all their families and friends coming to watch. And it's just I think it's become a special tradition, for a lot of families and people here in Salina and the surrounding region.
And it's really neat to have all of those kids, the students, be able to be in the presence of professionals and more mature, advanced musicians. And I'm sure that they always come away. Do you think they come away having learned something, a better understanding of what it means to make music and collaborate with people?
I think they do. And, for the dancers in particular, it's really special to perform with live orchestra. They typically work with recordings, and of course they're practicing with the recording leading up to Tech Week. And so that's really a special treat. And then, yeah, and even some of the young dancers or young vocalists coming and being in the audience and getting to say, oh, someday I'm going to be on stage with the Salina Symphony dancing or singing. So I do think, that really is something special. And just to be able to bring those art forms together is really meaningful. And, it's everything from something fun, like the Wizards in Winter piece. They choreographed like their wizards. I mean, it's super fun. The children in the audience will love that. We have some classical pieces. We have a lot of traditional carols, and so I think that everyone in the audience will probably come away with a little bit different favorite.
I'm looking at a program. I have one in front of me. I get a sneak peek. I'm lucky. And I see a name pop out of me, Leroy Anderson. Of course, Leroy Anderson is the composer of Sleigh Ride, but also he arranged Christmas carols for different ensembles, string ensembles, wind ensembles, brass ensembles. He's a staple of any musical ensemble this holiday season. We're going to hear just a couple of his carols that he arranges for string orchestra, and we'll be back with the Salina Symphony Orchestra after this. The Christmas Festival by the Salina Symphony Orchestra. And you should really say the entire Salina community, all involved in the Christmas Festival. It is this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday evening at 7, Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And for tickets, you can go to salinasymphony.org or by calling the box office at the Stiefel Theater. Adrienne Allen is the executive director of the Salina Symphony Orchestra, taking a few minutes of her time to talk with us about the festival. Now, I have never been in a position such as yours. However, I can imagine the logistical nightmare of having a symphony orchestra, a college chorale, a community chorus, 2 children's dance companies, and trying to find a rehearsal schedule that works.
Yeah, it's quite an adventure. And I mean, the whole process is really collaborative because we actually have a sort of a Christmas in July meeting to talk about repertoire, way in advance because the dance studios especially need time to choreograph before they rehearse. And so, we start in the summer looking at repertoire, and then it's really interesting because the dance studios and choirs begin rehearsing, in the weeks leading up to the concert. The orchestra only has one rehearsal that's orchestra only. And then we move into the theater during, concert week, and we have really exciting rehearsals those evenings, and then a dress rehearsal on Saturday. So it is, getting it organized has been something we've been able to kind of oil that machine over the years. But, and there's also the tech side of it. So we do have special projection. We hire a light designer, a sound engineer. And so, we have a really great technical crew also that we work with. So it is a big production, but it's fun. And over the years, I think we've kind of been able to smooth all that out so that it comes together pretty well.
Your technical director, your lighting crew, are those local?
Yes. So we work with J.R. Lidgett, who is actually the technical director at the community theater, has done lighting for us the past few years. And Brad Johnson comes in and does sound for us. And so they've kind of perfected it because I've worked with them for a number of years. And then, of course, Phil Tazika here at the Stiefel is invaluable in helping us get everything set up as well. And then one of our musicians actually puts together the projection that runs behind the concert. We have a fabulous projector, and so that just adds another element, a visual element, which is really nice.
I hope you have 2 incredibly successful performances, and I know that you will. Having so much of the community involved kind of guarantees sold out crowds, both performances, and I think that's so wonderful. The Stiefel Theater, tell us a bit about their COVID precautions, just so everybody knows what to expect going into the weekend.
Sure. So the Stiefel announced their COVID policies a few months ago, and sort of, in cooperation with many of their touring artists, we do have a few options for folks. You can either bring if you're vaccinated, bring your vaccine card and your ID with you to the concert, or you can show proof of a negative test within 72 hours. So those are fairly easy to get here in town or in the surrounding areas. For children under 18, also have the option of wearing a mask in lieu of either of those. And so, trying to keep people as safe as possible and providing a bit of flexibility so that we hope everyone in the family will be able to come out and feel safe coming out. I mean, that's really the goal and has been, I think, helpful, especially for our season ticket audience this year.
Yeah, and I really do think the Stiefel should be commended on that, keeping everybody safe. Bring your proof of vaccination or get a negative COVID test. Is it within 48 hours?
It's actually within 72 hours. So, trying to give people a little bit of time, get it tested Thursday or Friday and should be able to come into the concert. So,
and truly be able to enjoy the concert worry-free. I mean, I think it's a gift, especially after the past couple of years, to be able to attend a concert peace of mind and just really enjoy the experience. The Salina Symphony Orchestra is comprised of music educators and professionals and teachers and college students. And you're right in the middle of your season. In fact, you've already had 2 or 3 performances since the fall. Is that correct?
Yes, and as you know, we're in the middle of our music director search season. So we're so excited to continue in January, March, and May with bringing our remaining 3 candidates in. They're here for a period of 2 weeks to rehearse the orchestra. And so it's a very exciting season and leading into kind of a new era for the orchestra.
We'll talk more about that, but first, this is Sleigh Ride. The Salina Symphony Orchestra's Christmas Festival is this weekend, an annual tradition, except for last year. So how wonderful to return. It is at the Stiefel Theater in Salina, Saturday evening at 7 and Sunday afternoon at 4. Adrienne Allen is the executive director of the symphony. We have her with us now telling us all about this weekend and about the symphony in general and a bit more about your season to come. So let's look ahead. In the new year, what's coming on down the pipeline for the symphony?
Yeah, so we're very excited to bring in our 3 remaining candidates. And in late January, Yaniv Segal will be in from Michigan to work with the orchestra. And we're actually bringing in a cellist from Lawrence. And she will play the Haydn Cello Concerto No. 1. And then that concert will also feature Sibelius No. 5, and as well as a piece written a contemporary piece called Phoenix, which is we're really looking forward to
Oh,
that.
and those go together so well. The
Yeah.
Sibelius.
Oh, yeah. Take Flight being the title of the concert. So it's really going to be a treat, I think, for our audience. And then in March, we have Yaniv Attar coming in, and his concert will be, give us all a reason to dance with the Dance On No. 2. And then we're bringing in our first classical guitarist, soloist ever for the Salina Symphony, who will perform Rodrigo's Concerto de Aranjuez, and then also the Tchaik 5 for that concert. So that concert will be, it's kind of in the time slot of our typical Pops concert. So Yaniv made it very exciting for us. And then we'll close the season with Vlad Vizarano and a pianist returning who played with us a couple years ago, Lorraine Min, who will play the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto No. 1. And then Rachmaninoff Symphonic Dances will be a piece the orchestra has never played. So that'll be an exciting challenge. And Vlad also programmed a contemporary piece by Mason Bates called Mothership. So some really interesting, new pieces along with some staples of the repertoire. So we're very excited. It's been a really fun challenge for our musicians to work with different conductors this season and learn from each one. And it's going to be a difficult decision come May.
Excellent programming.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, tell me, I can't tell you off the top of my head, so I'm going to depend on you to tell me. Give me an estimate. How big of a city is Salina?
So Salina is right around 50,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
This is so wonderful. This wonderful orchestra for a city the size of Salina. Just in all the arts there too. I mean, here you're talking about there are 2 dance studios in town, and you have your children's choir, and you have a youth symphony orchestra, and of course you have the music students of Kansas Wesleyan right there down the road.
oh yeah, you're right. Just the arts community, with the community theater and the art center and the steeple and so many arts and cultural opportunities. And you're right. It has really been interesting for our candidates to come in who all are, have lived in much larger cities, and to be able to say, oh my goodness, look what we have, this jewel in the middle of Kansas in a fairly small town. So we're very grateful, and we don't take it for granted.
And
sure.
cozy burgers.
We can't forget that.
That's the one stop that I always make sure I take when I visit Salina. All right, the Salina Symphony's Christmas Festival this weekend, Saturday at 7 o'clock, Sunday at 4 o'clock. You can buy tickets at salinasymphony.org. Tickets start at $29 for adults and up, and $19 for students or children. You could also call the Stiefel Theater box office for tickets as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you just have the time of your life this weekend with the Christmas festival.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Have a Merry Christmas.
Oh, you too.